let's make lemonade. Okay. Let's go to work.
That's the signal! Go, 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 go! 6! It's beautiful! Mother Nature just pissed her pants, dude!
Wake up and hit the ground running. It's The Rush, presented by Willis Auto, with Travis Justice and Ross Peterson bringing you raw, unfiltered, and unapologetic talk about sports, life, and everything else that matters. No filtered, no fluff, just The Rush.
Welcome to the family. Welcome to the community that is the Rush Radio Show, presented by and powered by Willis Automotive. Good to have you here on a Thursday. If you're listening on the audio stream at therushradio.com, the Rush Radio Android app, or the TuneIn app, thank you so much. We're glad to have you with us. Good morning there, YouTubers. You're active and lively on the chat already. If you haven't done so, hit that subscribe button. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Give this video a like. Start leaving your comments in the comment section. And, of course, follow us on our social media channels, X, Facebook, and Instagram. Ross Peterson, what's going on?
Buddy, how was your Wednesday? Did you have a fun Wednesday?
You know, I had a busy Wednesday, believe it or not. And, of course, I had Synergy Day yesterday. It was our quarterly executive meeting.
I can feel the synergy.
Can you feel it?
The synergization coming off of you. I feel it.
Yeah, so, you know, you were writing me, you wrote me a smart-ass text in the middle of my meeting, like, as soon as you're fully synergized, give me a call when you have a chance. And so I said, you know, we're going till 4 o'clock, and I got a 10-minute break, and you were the first person I called, because I thought it was like an emergency.
Because you were feeling the synergization.
I was feeling the teamwork that needed to take place. And I thought, you know what? I've got a 10-minute break. I'm sure I'm in an executive meeting here, but I'm also an executive with the Rush Radio Show as a co-host and co-owner of the show. I got to call my business partner. Because there's an emergency taking place. And he's like, "Hey, dude, what's going on?" "Nothing. I got to tell you about this great phone call I had." I'm like, "That's all you needed? That's all you needed?"
You feeling synergized?
And then after that, I had to MC a pretty fancy dinner last night. And a lot of heavy hitters. Former president of Notre Dame was there. John Jenkins.
It's better when the heavy hitters are on your side.
Yes. Yeah. You know, I'm sitting there going, and it was the Creighton Prep dinner, Loyola Dinner of Honor and Distinction. And I'm just flabbergasted by the number of people who went to the same high school my son did. I mean, John Jenkins, the former president of Notre Dame, Creighton Prep grad. Junior Bryant was there. He played at Notre Dame, played for the San Francisco 49ers. He introduced another teammate of his, Mickey Anderson, who he's kind of like Jason Willis, but a lot bigger. I mean, they own a lot of auto dealerships. Okay. Matter of fact, you were there when we were talking to Jason Willis. I brought up Mickey, and they're very familiar because they own the Lexus dealership here and a whole bunch of other stuff. But yeah, so that was my busy night. I didn't get to watch any of the World Series because I'm at this thing, and I missed.
Dude.
What was a spectacular pitching performance by Trey Savage. I mean, and this story. You know, I'm watching ESPN this morning and stuff, and maybe I see things in a simpleton's view. You know, they're going through everything they did. I'm sitting there going, the story here is he got called up on September 15th. The story here is he started the year in single A. And you sit there and go, he pitched Game 5 of the World Series with it tied at 2, going against an incredible lineup and mowed him down.
Dude.
I mean,
This World Series has all of a sudden turned into an amazing World Series, and truly an amazing World Series. Every single game has had some sort of storyline that has come from it. Travis, you're nailing it, dude. The story here is this guy's making like $48,000 or something like that.
He
it's
was
crazy.
riding a bus back in April. He's literally on a bus, probably living in a host family's apartment, going, "Am I ever going to make it to the show? Am I ever going to make it to the show?" And 5 months later, the dude's in Game 5 of the World Series
and dealing, absolutely dealing. It was fun to even hear the passion from the broadcasters last night as he was mowing guys down. You felt it build as the game went on and on. In the 6th inning, 7th inning, he gets that 10th strikeout. And, even like they are erupting. And they're like, this story is incredible. I wish I could remember, Trav, and maybe one of the articles you have up has it in front of you. They mentioned the first team he pitched against this year.
Was it like, it's something probably like the Charlestown Chiefs? I'm using a Slapshot reference, but I mean.
It was. It was even like it was the Charlestown Chiefs farm team. It was. It was like the Bay City Rollers or something like that. It's an insane story of perseverance, of opportunity. So cool. And man, he never at any point was he walking off the mound with that look of like, I can't believe I'm doing this. Every time they showed him, dude, you could have told me that was Max Scherzer. You know what I mean? He just has this confidence of him. Like, they called him last night. They said, we're watching a World Series prodigy. We haven't seen a pitcher do this at this age since Josh Beckett, I think was the name that they threw out. And then John Smoltz goes, hey, I just saw Josh Beckett on the golf course this morning.
I mean, in all reality, it is the stories that make sports so unique.
Yeah.
Sure, the game is what it is. And the Toronto Blue Jays are up 3-2 now, but you have to connect the story. Shohei Ohtani is a story. I mean, that's a story. But we love the underdog. We love the surprise person that comes out of nowhere. Obviously, terribly gifted. Not terribly, amazingly gifted. He's 23 years old. You sit there and go, this guy's got a long career. There's no guarantees in baseball. We've seen this happen before where guys make an immediate splash but don't do anything later on. But you still go, this is amazing. 23, because we build this up into your mind. Oh, my God, you're 23. You're going to be – you just got called up in September 15th. You're going to be scared. You're going to be nervous. Well, he also pitched in the ALCS against the Yankees, did quite well. But to have – and maybe there's something about being young and dumb going, you know what? I'm just going to enjoy this, go out there and be myself. The older you get, and if you've tasted that once, maybe there's more pressure. Here you go. I'm just here to do a job, and I'm going to go out and do my job. I'm not making millions of dollars. I'm not a high roller. I need to prove myself. And boy, Ohtani hitless last night. Freddie Freeman hitless last night. Dude just mulled him down in 7 innings. A record performance by a rookie pitching in the World Series, maybe even the postseason with 12 Ks. I think you have to go back to like 1959 or something like that to find a pitcher that was a rookie that had it had 11 strikeouts. I mean, it's just amazing.
Fun to watch, Trav, and yeah, I hope it's the beginning of something great. I'm not saying the guy's going to be a Hall of Fame pitcher or anything like that, but hell, having a Josh Beckett type career would be awesome. And certainly, he's certainly got the stuff for it. I mean, I keep thinking I love our conversations with Kluver. And, when Mark Gronowski was struggling those first couple weeks and he talked about that electricity that he was feeling, that's what I was anticipating. I think that's what you're saying there too, is like, this kid's going out there to face the greatest baseball player of all time and his 8 teammates there's a couple of Hall of Famers in there, Freddie Freeman and Mookie Betts. You got some dudes.
A pretty darn good lineup. The defending defending World Series champions.
Like legitimately one of the best lineups 1 through 9 that we've had in recent history in baseball. And now you got the electricity of going out there on the road in a game 5 with a 2-2 series. Like boom, boom, it compounds all of that electricity. It's got to be too big for a 22-year-old who started this season pitching for the Quad City River Bandits or whatever he was pitching for. The Clinton Lumber Kings.
I need to know what the single-A affiliate of the Toronto Blue Jays is.
Well,
I'm going to look.
It's one of those articles. I don't have my my other laptop with me, or I tried to look it up for you this morning. But they mentioned last night who the team was, the first team he pitched against this year. And it literally was like the Clinton Lumber Kings. It was a team you've never heard of. It's an amazing story. He is I wish they would do the thing. Did you see the graphic the other day of the salaries? The Blue Jays pitcher is on the mound, and Shohei Ohtani steps into the box, and they start to roll dollar signs. How much do they make per minute? Right, and because Ohtani makes like it's like $48,000 a minute or something crazy.
You're like watching the gas pump, right? It's just rolling that fast.
Yeah, well, the pitchers is rolling like the gas pump. The Ohtani's is rolling like the national debt. You know what I mean? It's like he's making $43 trillion. Is that bad? I would love to see that layout next to with Savage, because insane. The dollar value thing is just a shocking thing. He didn't blink at all last night, man. Really cool to see. And I do think I'm watching that game last night, and I thought to myself, from my expectation of what this World Series was going to be, this might be one of the best World Series I've ever seen. Now, I want to say that again. From my expectation of what I thought this was going to be, I thought the Dodgers were going to come in and steamroll this team. There was part of me last night that was like, damn, Toronto? Damn. How have I slept on this team this hard for this long? They are super fun. I'm hoping they can finish this thing off and pull off this upset. That'd be great.
Now, the single A affiliate that came up is the Dunedin, Dunedin Blue Jays, which is a Florida State League and our single A affiliate of the Toronto Blue Jays.
That's who he was pitching for.
That's what I'm assuming.
The Dunedin. We don't even know what the name of the town is that he was pitching for.
That's absolutely incredible. Now they do have they have a couple. They have Dunedin is the single A, or Dunedin, or whatever it is. They have a rookie league, but when you say single, there's a difference between single A and rookie league.
Yeah.
High A is the Vancouver Canadians.
Okay.
And then double A is New Hampshire Fisher Cats. Triple A is the Buffalo Bisons.
Yeah, I don't know who he was. I don't remember which one of those he was throwing for. I wish the team he was pitching against also had a. Tyler says it's Dundee.
Dundee.
All right.
I'll take your. It sounds Irish. It sounds Irish. I think Ross just visited Dundee when he was over in Ireland.
Yeah, it's right outside of Sligo.
Man. But it's the stories. It's the emotion that evokes that passion and gets you fired up.
Ken Payne, our buddy Ken Payne with the best line, did, don't pitch here no more. That's how you say it.
Right now there's an agent just going like this. One performance just made him a lot of money.
Oh, buddy.
Man. Oh, and by the way, Vlad hit a home run last night, right? I mean, that
dude, if he has a genuine case to be the World Series MVP in a World Series where Shohei Ohtani has demonstrated that he's the greatest baseball player of all time. This has been a dynamic World Series, man. It has really been fun to dive into this. And last night there was something about maybe I got sucked in. I try not to get sucked into the emotion of the announcers, but man,
it's hard not to.
Night, they were genuinely, it was just neat to hear those guys as blown away by it as everybody else was.
Because you know what? Let me tell you why. And this is where announcers can really play a big part in that emotion. In that you feel, when you're at a stadium, you've been to Kinnick Stadium when you've seen something really special.
Yeah.
When I remember being at Hilton Coliseum when Big Country Bryant Reeves was playing for Oklahoma State and Iowa State was doing something special that day. I believe they beat it, and I felt the floor move. I mean, when you're at the stadium, you feel it. But when you're not there, the announcers are kind of in control of your emotions, and you like to hear that. You like to know deep in the back of your subconscious that, okay, I know what I'm watching, but the fact that I can feel or understand the emotion that you're going to get, because you've probably seen, when you're a Major League Baseball announcer, you're doing games every single night or every single weekend. It's not like it's just not another game. You're like, oh, let's sit back. Let's enjoy this, folks. We're watching something special. Yes, we're on the edge of our seats just as much as you are, and that emotion comes through, and you're like, this is what the World Series is about.
Yeah. That's it. That you just nailed it right there. This is what it's supposed to be like. This is what it's supposed to feel like, is special and edge of your seat stuff. Even in a 4-1, 6-2, I mean, Toronto's in control of that game. The Dodgers, even with runners on, they're never pressing. And even in that situation, man, you are on the edge of your seat.
I think this came up earlier in the chat. I forget who said it, but I think it's something worth bringing up. This World Series has really had it all. I mean, from the visiting team getting victories on the road to an 18-inning marathon, and that's where I want to go. Did the 18-inning win by the Dodgers take more out of them than what?
Hard to argue that it didn't.
I know.
I mean, the Blue Jays have, you come out of that game, and think about that. You come out of that game, and they've got Ohtani going in Game 4. So, huge advantage for the Dodgers. Both those teams, they went through 19 pitchers in that 18-inning game. You're going to have to get a couple of days where your starters become workhorses. And not only do the Dodgers have the best player of all time going in Game 4, but in Game 5, the Blue Jays are going to be starting a rookie. If they get 4 innings out of him, they'll be lucky. And then he goes out and absolutely deals.
Let me say something else, because I do believe in mindset, right? And that is, we've seen some teams, Ross, who have lost games like that, who they let it destroy them. Like, oh man, we just went 18 innings, we lost, we gave it everything. And I remember watching all the interviews after the 18-inning game, and every Toronto Blue Jay was like, yeah, it sucked to lose, but that was part of they had that mindset of, we were just part of something special. Yeah, we didn't win the game, but that was great for baseball. It was great for the fans. The atmosphere was electric. They didn't let that, because a lot of times you go that long and you lose and you're like, oh man, what just happened here? We just blew a chance. I don't think they looked at it as they blew a chance. They're like, oh, okay, we entertained millions of people.
We were a part of something special.
Yes.
That was.
And if you frame it that way in your head, it doesn't get to you mentally that you're out of it, right? Yeah. And then and even with Shohei Ohtani on the hill the next day, you're like, oh no, we're just going to step up and play. Wow. And now we'll head into the weekend with a weekend series, which is awesome, right? I mean, you got a Friday, Saturday, I believe,
right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Of course, a lot of coverage of the World Series. Major League Baseball Network has coverage. Albert Pujols, a big part of the Major League Baseball Network coverage, except he was late for work last night.
Yeah, I heard about this. Had an interview.
He had an interview that was absurdly long. So Albert Pujols wants to be a manager. I don't have any strong feelings one way or another on this. It's a pretty quick turnaround to go from playing to the broadcast booth to being a manager. But, I mean, Albert Pujols, again, Hall of Famer. I think we can say he's going to be a Hall of Famer, right?
No doubt. Yeah.
There's no doubt.
First ballot.
But, he's got a job. He's on the Major League Baseball Network. But he's also trying to get another job. He wants to be a manager. What would a typical job interview... I mean, most job interviews I've been on, 45 minutes to an hour, said, hey, thanks for asking the questions. They bring you back for a second interview. It's just kind of, it might be another half hour. Hey, we want you to meet some people. And he had a 9-hour interview with the Padres. What the hell can you talk about for 9 hours? 9 hours, Ross. I mean, he probably saw, and I listened to you and Owen after I left yesterday, and thanks to my son for filling. You guys did great. I was actually entertained. I was listening to you guys. I'm like, this is actually funny. But Owen had mentioned that he went to the Petco Park yesterday. I'm like, did they take him to the basement of Petco Park? Did they take him to every little crevice to say, well, you can do this here and here? I'm like, for 9 freaking hours, what do you talk about?
What are your strengths?
We're going to have you take this personality assessment. We're going to see what your Enneagram is, 9 hours. I mean,
Where
is at one point Albert Pujols going, hey, guys, I got to go. Can you give me a private jet to get me back up to L.A. so I can be part of the Major League Baseball network?
Albert, where do you see yourself in 5 years? I had an interview one time, and the guy said, paint for me your picture of success.
These are dumb questions. They're just dumb questions.
So I don't know. What in 9 hours, I don't know. I can't imagine what you do in 9 hours. Yeah, you could tour you could almost tour San Diego in 9 hours.
We're going to take you over to Coronado. We're going to go to SeaWorld. Do you want to see the killer whales? Because it's incredible. Would you like to see the zoo, Albert? Because
I just keep hearing the South Park San Diego song now. Crap. It's just stuck in my head now.
San Diego.
I'll be jacking it in San
Diego.
Sorry.
South Park can ruin so many things. I was emceeing that dinner last night. And so before we kicked off the award presentation, I said, I introduced this video of a day in the life of a Creighton Prep student. And the first song is Come Sail Away. And all I hear
Christopher Cross.
No.
Come Sail Away is...
Come sail away.
Yeah.
Come sail... And all,
I'm hearing sailing.
I'm sailing away.
Yeah.
And all I hear is Cartman in the background. Because, Cartman did that. And I'm like, oh, my God, this song's just ruined for me. Because all I can think is South Park as I'm listening to this.
Sticks. Thank you, Mike.
Yeah,
That's
Sticks.
Yeah.
Sticks. Yeah. Wow. But, 9 hours.
Is Styx like one of those bands like 38 Special that you forget how many
good songs they have?
See, I have to blame KGGO. When I was a kid, the only station you listened to was KGGO. For the 80s and early 90s, KGGO dominated the Des Moines radio market. So they were a huge influence on my life. Bob Seger, Pink Floyd, Styx, Fleetwood Mac. Like, these were REO Speedwagon. Brian writes in a good one there.
REO Speedwagon's better than Styx, in my view.
See, and I'd have to see their song lists next to each other to be like, oh yeah, that's this. Oh yeah, that's who sang that, dude. Like 38 Special was one. I remember I'm golfing with my buddy Nate Lee this summer, and we had the golf cart is playing music for us, right? And 38 Special song comes on, and we were like, man, are they a one-hit wonder?
No.
Dude, they've got some bangers.
Yeah. Right? They do have some bangers.
And about 15 minutes later, we're like Googling where we can see 38 Special in concert.
They're going to be at the Squawky. They're going to be at the Squawky coming up this weekend. 38 Special. Okay, I don't know that. I just used Meskwaki as an example.
Yeah, come to Minnesota, the Collins County State Fair. Together again for the first time.
Live at the Valor Ballroom, the third iteration of 38 Special.
Live from a giant mud pit.
But, Styx had a breaking point, though, because Tommy Shaw, who is probably the most famous member of Styx, guitar player, really good. Okay. He was actually part of the Damn Yankees. Damn Yankees was they were a band that got thrown together real quick with Ted Nugent, Tommy Shaw. I forget who else was in the Damn Yankees. They were kind of a one-hit wonder. They were kind of like this mega band that came together. But, Mr. Roboto was like the breaking point for Styx, where they kicked Dennis DeYoung out of Styx. They're like, okay, we're okay with Sailing. It's got a little rock to it. Mr. Roboto was like, okay, we're done. We're done. You're gone. The rock operas, we're not going to do Mr. Roboto.
I had to Google Damn Yankees.
Yeah.
They sang that song High Enough.
Yeah.
Can you take me? Not for me. Not for me. That's the type of 80s, 90s music that I didn't like.
But that's where they went for the radio hit, right? I mean, they probably like, okay, this song sucks, but let's do it because we're going to get radio hit and we're going to make some money off of it.
Yeah. Mr. Roboto was weird.
Not weird. It's bad. It's really, really bad.
Glad to hear you say that.
Don't know. Don't
Man,
nobody want no Mr. Roboto.
Journey, G Bobbles, somebody on somebody on our comment section It says Journey is like that too. They have way more material than you realize. However you had pronounced G Bobbles.
There's the Rev.
I don't like Journey.
That's understandable. I get it. I like a couple of Journey songs, but I wouldn't say that, they're the classic, just bring in a new lead singer. As long as you sound like Steve Perry, we can make this work.
I've told this story before, but one of my favorite podcasts is Mike Rowe. He has about a 6-minute podcast. It's called The Way I Heard It. And he tells these awesome stories in 6 minutes. Now, of course, because he's doing that, he's got to be kind of fast and loose with some of the details, right? Because it's to tell a story in 6 minutes. There's one called John's Portuguese Cousin. And it's about how Steve Perry became the lead singer of Journey. The manager basically swindled him in. The manager had heard Steve Perry, knew, I need Steve Perry to be the lead singer of this Journey band, because the band is fantastic, but the lead singer sucks. And I can't just go to the band and say, hey, I got this new lead singer, or they'll fire me as their agent. So he convinces Steve Perry to pretend to be a roadie. Hires him and goes to the lead roadie named John, and he says, listen, this guy doesn't look like any other roadie. He weighs 115 pounds, okay? So we're going to have to tell people that he's your Portuguese cousin. And you just got to go with me on this until I turn him loose. And he waited until they were doing a sound check at the Hollywood Bowl. And he goes to the lead singer and he says, hey, there's a reporter out front that wants to chat with you. Would you want to go outside and talk to the reporter for a few minutes? And the lead singer says, absolutely. Ushers him off, calls Steve Perry onto stage, who'd been memorizing the songs, and says, hey, just do sound check with the roadie here and see how that goes.
And they're probably like, the roadie? The roadie?
Steve Perry cuts loose, and the band is like, holy cow. So anyway, there's my Journey story.
And then the lead singer that went to do the interview, all of a sudden that pass doesn't work. You're not allowed back on stage. We'll see you later. We'll see you later.
Right.
515-517-2303 is the number to call. Coming up at 7 o'clock, Todd Stepsis, head coach of the Northern Iowa Panthers, is going to be joining us. Northern Iowa taking on Illinois State this weekend. Bruno is going to be with us at 7:30. We'll find out what's going on at the Full Court Press establishments. Talking a dysfunctional college football program, and I mean severely, severely dysfunctional college football program that may have gone from the best job in college football to the one nobody wants to touch. And I mean that. It is the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.
The Rush Radio is now on the free TuneIn app, allowing you to enjoy the show on Apple products and Android Auto. Download the free TuneIn app and search The Rush Radio to take Travis and Ross wherever you go.
Your house wasn't built for bats, birds, or raccoons, but try telling them that. At Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions, we've been helping Iowans take back their homes for over 20 years. We use cost-effective, eco-friendly methods to solve wildlife and pest problems the right way. Whether it's bats in your attic, birds in the vents, raccoons in your chimney, or moles in your yard, we have long-term solutions. Call Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions today at 515-218-3400, and let's make sure your home doesn't become their home.
There's more Iowa in the Iowa Tap Room than you may realize. Housed in a building nearly as old as Iowa itself, the Iowa Tap Room greets you with a harvest of 120 Iowa craft beers on tap from all corners of the state. And the food doesn't get much more Iowa than this. The Iowa Tap Room, all Iowa beer, one amazing place.
There's always something new at Fong's Pizza. The patio is open and ready for you, your friends, and an ever-changing menu of tiki drinks. Or try our new noodle dishes alongside your favorite slice. It's all happening this summer at the new Fong's in the East Village.
Thinking about buying a home? Get pre-approved in 30 minutes with Gary Presnell at Northwest Bank in Des Moines. Gary offers first-time home buyers programs, VA, FHA, IFA, and conventional loans. Call Gary at 515-975-6767 or find his profile at nw.bank. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender.
You know, Brian, at Central City, we really do have the best selection around.
I know. High-quality stuff you can't find anywhere else.
Whistle Pig, plantation rum.
Yeah, and over 150 of the best scotches on earth.
And a ton of bitters, mixers, and more.
You know what we are? High class.
Definitely high class, yeah.
Make way for the natty.
Okay, maybe medium class.
Central City Liquor is home of the 10% cash coupon.
And the Wooden Nickel program.
A fuel choice that even rivals can agree on? Now that's worth the hype. Cheaper, cleaner, and homegrown. Pump it up with Unleaded 88.
After Hawkeye football games this fall, Travis and Ross are right where they belong, with you taking your calls and giving unfiltered feedback. Right after Hawkeye football games, it's the Black and Gold Rush on the RushRadio.com, the TuneIn app, and on YouTube.
Why'd the car thief get caught?
Why?
He took too many breaks. Why couldn't the mechanic work on his motorcycle? Because he was too tired. What do you get when you bring your car in for service at Land Rover Des Moines?
What?
$100 off tires. Right now, through the month of October and November, we're offering $100 off select tires. No tricks here, just great deals.
Back like a rash you thought was gone. Travis and Ross aren't contagious, but they are addictive. It's the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.
Don't forget, tomorrow on the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive, it's the Rush Weekly Woohoo from the Iowa Lottery. This week's prize pack includes Scratch, Match, and Win, and Iowa Blackout Scratch tickets, plus some Mega Millions free play coupons, a prize pack valued at $90. It's the Iowa Lottery Weekly Woohoo tomorrow on the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive. Now, if you listen to the show on a daily basis, you know that Ross has become the unofficial spokesperson for the opposition movement.
I'm not, and I don't stop that. I'm not. I'm just sharing my opinions, and I'm willing to chat with anybody about them. I'm not. I don't.
Would you admit this though? You have a bigger platform than most.
Yes, I do, and I try to. Man, Travis, I don't want to overstate this because I try not to make too much of what we have here, right? I don't. We're local celebrities, which emphasis on the local. That's an oxymoron. I hope people understand. And I always try to look at it that way. I do understand that we have a little bit of a platform here. We talk to a few thousand people. I've got a good social media following, and so I do try to take that thing with with great power comes great responsibility. I try not to abuse it. I've made the mistake of using this platform as a weapon before, and it haunts me the times that I've done it. So I try not to do that. I do have friends that have reached out and said, Ross, will you please share your opinions on this because you've got a bigger platform and you can get this out. If this thing if there's a no vote on Tuesday, I certainly don't want people to go, well, it didn't pass because of Ross. That's not what I'm hoping for here, and I have no plans on turning this into some sort of other platform where I now run for school board or something. I don't have other intentions behind this. I'm just sharing my opinions on a vote that's coming up, and I'm a lot of the interaction I've had has been very respectful with people.
Yeah, because you've encouraged that, and we've always said if you don't like our opinions, we let anybody on. You'd be surprised, like on the Black and Gold Rush, when people go, "Why do you let that person on?" We don't care. We've always let people on. Yeah, because they called.
They called the number.
Speaking of a call at 515-517-2303, who's this? Hello.
Good morning. This is Chad.
Hey, Chad. What's going on,
What's
Chad?
up, buddy?
Good morning, Ross. I saw your post yesterday on Facebook, and I reached out to you, so we chatted, and you said, hey, call the show, so here I am.
Yes, love that, man. Thank you so much. This is one of my good friends, my buddy Chad. Known Chad since high school. We've worked together, been a great friend, and a wonderful guy. So happy to chat with you, Chad.
Thank you, Ross. I appreciate that, man. And I love the fact that you're using your platform to get your voice out. On this one, we agree on 99% of things. On this one, we disagree on.
You've got a good perspective on this, right? Because your wife is a teacher, right?
No, my wife is not a teacher. My daughter goes to Des Moines schools. My youngest daughter, my oldest daughter, actually went to a suburban school. So we have a good contrast here as to what these schools or what the children experience at these schools.
Yeah.
My youngest daughter has had an amazing experience at Des Moines schools. My oldest daughter did not have an amazing experience at a suburban school. We'll just say at Waukee. If we would have called this bond, or if the school board would have called this bond, what it actually is, improving Des Moines schools, I don't think there would be all this debate. Instead, what they created was a word salad. Reimagining education. What exactly is that? Everybody's struggling to wrap their head around it. What we need to call it is improving Des Moines schools buildings and making them what they should be. What are your thoughts?
I think, first of all, you're exactly right about the reimagining education means nothing. And I love the fact you use that term word salad, because some of it has been exactly that. It's been a word salad that has come out of this. And when you try to press on word salad, it falls apart real quick like a wet napkin. Had they done that, I think that would have helped a lot. It would have helped a lot of people, because the Des Moines schools are in desperate need of improvement. And I've tried to, like yesterday, social media is so weird. You're limited by content characters. You got to kind of make your point quickly, and by cutting through the weeds, you get really pointed and you miss the nuance. Yesterday on the show, I did say this is one of those situations where the truth lies somewhere in the middle. These schools are in dire need of improvements. They are falling apart. They have been for a long time. And I think that where we probably kind of differ is, I would love to be a yes vote on this. I would love to be a yes vote on this thing to improve it. The current administration has moved this district in a fashion and a direction for about 2 decades now that I just cannot find the support to throw more money behind it. In my opinion, the district needs to take some serious steps back from the direction that they've moved. I've got some specific things that I would lay out with that, but I feel like they need to build trust back with the community by doing some of these things. They removed the cops from the school systems. They have injected politics.
We agree on that. Yeah, I agree.
They've injected their politics of the teachers into the classrooms. The administration is bloated beyond belief right now, and they've added administrative levels rather than cutting those. So I think that there are some real house cleaning measures that have to happen within the district before we turn this thing loose. Like, one of the things that I don't, and I'm sorry that I rant on you here. One of the things that I don't like the most, and that makes me say there's no way we should give this group $265 million right now. They don't have control of the classrooms. This is not a knock on the teachers. The administrators have forced these things onto these teachers that it makes it so they can't control their own classroom. They're forcing kids through that are failing the classes. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I challenge you on that, though.
Yeah.
The same things are happening in private schools. You and I both know a guy that had a kid who's now a great kid, right? Going into high school, he's a great kid. He's mellowed out. But you and I both know a guy that had a kid in private school, in grade school, that was the kid they locked the doors for.
Yeah.
In private school, in a Catholic school here in town. They locked the doors for that kid, and he tore apart the classroom.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, whether it's in Iowa, I have a sister who's a teacher she's not a teacher anymore, but was a teacher in Colorado as well, right? Yeah. Whether it's in Iowa, in Denver, in North Glen, wherever it is, in a Catholic school or a public school, those things are what the teachers have been trained to do. You and I disagree with the methods that they're taking to do that. You know, we're on the same page there.
Exactly.
But I think that's a nationwide thing, and to say, you know, it's just as likely to happen at any private school here in Des Moines as it is at a public school. Unfortunately, at a public school, it may happen more often because you have parents who are less involved. Right.
You just hit the nail on the head.
On the whole,
Parents.
It's all about, and you should be in marketing, Chad, because
Chad is in marketing.
Okay, because messaging means so
I
much.
was, not anymore, but I was.
The truth is, you don't have to reinvent or reimagine education. I always hate this. We need these wide open spaces. We need bean bags for chairs and not desks anymore. You know what? There's plenty of generations
there's plenty of generations that just did fine by putting your desk in a row and getting back to the basics, right? I mean, you don't have to reimagine what education is. All you have to do is make sure that you have the tools and the ability to educate and a little control and discipline. Now, Chad, my kids all went to Catholic school, in the
right?
environment.
In the environment. Now, my kids all went to Catholic
and
school.
So did I.
The difference here is, and my wife is a public school teacher, and the difference is when that happens in a private school, you're gone. You get kicked out. At least that what I mean. I watched more kids get kicked out of it. They're like, you know what? We're not dealing with this. You're bad for a disruptor. And I'll do it. I'll do another. And this is nothing against special ed. Special ed is very much needed. But when you have somebody that needs so many needs in a classroom that a teacher has to devote so much time to that person and neglect 28 other kids that are in the classroom, who's suffering there, right? I mean, you have to prioritize who's getting taught.
Totally agree. But as we said, that same thing is happening in Catholic schools. A specific example that again, Ross and I both know the gentleman whose child it is. He's a good kid, and that's a good guy, right?
Yep.
That guy kept his kid in that same Catholic school all the way through, right? And that kid's getting ready to proceed to the next school. And again, he turned out a great kid, right? Because his parents were concerned. I don't know what was going on with him, but his parents were concerned and stepped in and said, hey, what's going on? Get you some therapy, right? I think we have to give these kids an environment in which they can learn. Ross, your high school right now is falling apart and probably one of the ones most in need
actually,
of help,
Chad,
right?
as weird as this is, dude, East is actually one of the ones that's in the better shape. And that says something.
No kidding, man. Yeah, that's awesome. Well, good for you.
Well,
right.
I mean, low bar.
Again, parents that care. A lot of parents that care there. You can say, Ross, you went there. There's a lot of parents that care there.
Yes,
right?
a lot of
parents
people
that don't, too. They deal with that at every school.
A community of people that care. You're absolutely right, Chad. And I think that it does start at home with parents. It really does. I witnessed this just the other day with my daughter's school. My daughter now goes to one of the charter schools here in Des Moines. And I went in to talk to the principal about some stuff. And when I walked into the principal's office, there was a young student there who was having one of these outbursts. He was obviously something was going on. He was having a very emotional response to what was happening in his life right now. He's a young kid. He's probably in first or second grade. And I watched this principal handle it in a way that I admired so much. There was no wiggle room. Every time the kid had an outburst, she instantly addressed it. And she said, stop. We don't do that. That's not what happens in this building. If you're going to behave that way, do we need to call your mom and get you out of here? Do you need a coping skill? But the one thing that's not going to happen is this outburst. And I sat there and went, yeah, that's how you handle that. The schools need to set a precedent. And I know the room clear thing happens around the country.
That's a personal thing, though.
It's the people.
That's a personal thing, though. That teacher was right in doing that.
Yes.
Because we have the same thing at our school, and I believe that our principal would do the same thing.
And that's my point. It's not money. It's not money. It's the people. It is the direction that the district has gone for a long time. You've got to create an environment. You nailed it. You got to create an environment where the expectations are clear. Everybody in this building is here for one reason, and that's to educate. Everybody in this building. And if you show up here and you don't have that attitude, you get removed from that environment. That they have to empower the teachers to start
We're on
failing.
the same page there.
Yeah. This is what I would love to have happen. And I'm trying over and over to say it's not the teachers.
Ross,
it's not the teachers. The
I want to
teachers
ask
are
you a
doing
question.
great. Yeah.
I want to ask you a question. And Chad, I want you to hear this. And this is the problem with bond issues. I get they have to be passed. I get that schools have to be improved. What I'd like to say is, here's what we're going to do, and here's the accountability chart. If this doesn't turn into this, then this is going to happen. School board, I'd love to hear a school board member say, hey, I've been on the school board for so long. If this doesn't turn things around in X amount of, because you need a certain period to see if there's a return on investment, if this doesn't happen, there's accountability that people will suffer because of this.
Accountability.
Accountability. We want to hold our kids accountable. Yeah. I think administrators, school boards, everything should be held accountable to what your promised results are. Because you're promising results. How do you measure those results?
Yes.
And then hold somebody else accountable who's in charge of delivering those results.
And that's part of right now we have a 72% graduation rate. We have that's not the buildings. It's not the wet basements.
We both know that's got to be misleading though. There's got to be misleading points of that number, though, Ross. 72%. You and I both know there's more than 7 out of 10 kids in Des Moines, hopefully at least getting their GED. Right?
But GED's not a graduation.
You know what the graduation rate was in 1995. Right,
Chad,
but there are some kids that are going to get bored with high school and say, I'm done, I'm going to go get my good enough diploma.
That's the districts telling us that number. That's not the district in their presentation. They show this number, 72% graduation rate. Around Iowa, Iowa's average graduation rate is the same as the nation's. Within a half a percentage point, it's either 87 point something or 88.1, but 88% is the national average of graduation rate. Iowa's graduation rate is 88%. Des Moines is 72. And there are a lot of people inside
I'd
the
be
district
curious
that say,
why somebody didn't figure out why that number's there. Why is that number there, right? And they can say, again, here's the word salad. You and I both sat through the same presentation, and that answer was never there. Why is this number here, right? And there was nobody, unfortunately, we both experienced this too, nobody to ask that question to.
Right.
Well,
so again, Travis, you just nailed it. Accountability would be refreshing all over the place. I fear, though, that we're going to end up running into this same thing in the private schools because now the funds that were once going to public schools have now been redirected to the private schools through the tuition assistance program, right? So whether it's there now or not, this same problem is going to end up creeping into the private schools. The same teachers are leaving the Des Moines schools and going to the private schools.
Yes,
right, because they're going to pay them more money now.
Well,
so it's not necessarily a district problem as much as it is a personnel, I think.
It's not.
Train people right.
We got to back up a little bit here. Teachers aren't leaving because of money. Teachers are leaving because of the district's policies. Teachers are leaving because they're scared to speak out in their job. They have created an atmosphere of fear in the Des Moines Public Schools. I have a dozen teachers in my messages that say, Ross, keep it up. I can't comment on your thing because if I do, I will get punished at work. I've had teachers reach out to say, hey, I tried to push back on some of this stuff, and then I was shifted to a different classroom from a different grade after 20 years of
there's
being
politics
this teacher.
that takes place all the time like that.
So that people are leaving the district. And by the way, the school voucher thing is a direct response to several superintendents from DMPS playing politics with the kids. It is a direct response. I'm one of those parents that took a kid out of DMPS. Now at that school, I ask questions to those parents. Why did you leave DMPS? There's always one of two answers: bullying and politics. I was sick of my kid coming home with rainbow stickers and telling everybody that he had to announce his pronouns. I was sick of my kid coming home and telling me that he was getting bullied and the teachers can't do anything about the bully. I've reached out to the principal and they say, hey, our hands are tied. We have to have this kid in school. We can't kick him out even though he's threatening other kids.
No.
So parents say,
no,
I'm done.
That same scenario happened to us. And you know what we did? We put our daughter in jiu-jitsu, and now I feel sorry for anybody that tries to bully her.
Amen,
right?
Chatty.
Instead, what parents did Instead, what parents did is they said, "Oh, I'm just going to take you out of the school." We have some of my daughters, one of my daughter's parents, considering the same thing. I think, why would you take them out of the school?
Well,
I got bullied as a kid. I'm sure you got bullied a little bit as a kid too, Ross. Right? You deal with it, and unfortunately, instead of teaching them how to deal with it,
that's parenting.
They say, "Let's remove them from the situation and put them over here."
That's
right.
it.
But you go back to parenting. Teaching, it's a personal thing. We've all lost track of common sense here, whether it's in the district or whether it's in parents. It's crazy.
And I would say this: the unintended consequence. I'm all for going where you want to go. Open enrollment's hurt, right? And the fact that when you can just pack up and go to any school that you want to, it makes it a little bit easier or harder to keep some students there that would be good.
I look at that as accountability. I look at that as if you're not controlling your school, if the parents aren't happy with the product that's coming home from the school, that's accountability for the parents to say, all right, I'm going to find something better.
I don't
for my
disagree.
kids.
I don't disagree with you. I'm just saying it's an unintended consequence to where
absolutely
because it got so far down the road, you're like, I just want to open and roll and make my life better. Chad, we got to let you go because I want to get to this other.
Thanks
this
so
is
much,
good stuff,
buddy.
man. Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate you.
Not a problem.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. Take care. Well,
What a great example there of like we can disagree.
Yeah.
I mean, Chad and I agree on 99% of the stuff. We're going to vote differently on Tuesday on this bond referendum, but that's an important thing to do is talk to people and go, hey, why are you feeling the way that you're feeling? And not get emotion involved and not get name calling involved and have a nuanced conversation about, well, wait, isn't this happening everywhere? And if it's happening everywhere, how do we change it? And what is different about this situation than that situation? That's what it takes. And I always have loved Chad. Great guy, smart guy.
We got Todd Stepsis coming up in about 10 minutes, but I want to get to this. And we probably could have gone a half hour on this. I was watching Paul Feinbaum the other day. A lot of people think the LSU job is the best job in college football. And listen, you've got a stadium that seats 100,000. You've got a rabid fan base. You have high expectations. You have all the money you need. You have all the facilities you need. It's a great job, or it was a great job. Ross, yesterday, the governor of Louisiana, Jeff Landry, said the athletic director at LSU will not be hiring the next head coach at LSU. He's taking that away from the athletic director. He's using the board of supervisors of LSU to put together a search committee that will hire the next head coach. Here's a lot of things wrong with that. This is where politics and government and a governor should not get involved. And I understand it's a state institution, but you hire an athletic director to do something. You have an interim president at LSU, so you don't have any leadership. You have now an athletic director that has been castrated. Because the truth is, when the football coach gets hired, technically in the org chart sort of things, you answer to the athletic director. You've castrated that guy. Right now, if you're any coach worth his salt, you're going, you know what? I don't know who my AD is going to be. And if I do have to work for Scott Woodward, he's a castrated, gilded athletic director who has no power. And the governor is now watching this over like a hawk. And I don't disagree with the governor said. I disagree with saying, hey, he's not going to hire him. I have no problem with the governor saying, hey, this is a state institution. We're no longer doing contracts like this. We are no longer going to be fiscally irresponsible where we have to pay somebody $56 million if we're going to fire them. That's not fiscally responsible. Basically saying these long-term contracts are gone. And I don't blame him for saying that. But to say that your athletic director is not going to make the hire means that athletic director most likely is going to get fired or is out there looking for another job, and your head coach going, what shitstorm am I walking into? What shitstorm am I walking in? Can you imagine if Kim Reynolds said, sorry, Beth Getz, you don't get to hire Kirk Ferentz's replacement? Let's say Matt Campbell up and left Iowa State, and Kim Reynolds said, you know what, Jamie Pollard, we got this. Don't you worry. And Landry, in a smart-ass way, I don't think it was a smart comment, said, I don't know, maybe we'll let Trump hire him. Trump likes winners. And I'm like, okay, I know you're trying to be funny there, but read the room, dude. Read the frickin' room. You have the best job open in college football right now, and you've made it toxic. Toxic.
You said it before we went to the break, Travis. You had the best job in college football.
You can't get out of your own way. And listen, I got a daughter that lives in Louisiana. Louisiana's different. It is. And the SEC is different. But you're proving how dysfunctional this is. And people just sit there and go, you're ruining a really, really good thing.
Yeah.
And if I'm a fan of LSU, I'm mad at Governor Landry. You're like, you are. Yes.
Yeah. And I mean, just again, here we just did it too. But when politics and sports start to collide, when you start saying, well, boy, if we could just get President Trump because he likes winners, you're going to shut off half of the brains. You're going to shut off half the brains. You're going to go, what the? Bringing this guy in? Why would Donald Trump? Why would the president need to get involved in the hiring of a? And I know he just did it for the effect.
For the effect of
it,
yes.
Just did it for the effect to get people riled up and kick that all off, dude. How would we feel? I mean, listen, the governor. There's a part of me, Travis, honestly, that says, yeah, about time. It's about time that somebody said, hey, wait a minute, you don't own this. You guys have screwed this thing up. We're paying $100 million to coaches that aren't even coaching. LSU is right now paying 2 ex-coaches, right?
I don't know if Orgeron's been paid off yet or not.
I thought I saw somewhere that
it's Florida who's going to be paying 3 head coaches. Florida's going to be paying three head coaches.
Right. But LSU's looking around and going, hold on, you guys signed a contract that we have to pay this guy how much money not to be here anymore? You don't get to sign the next contract. We know that the rule, the normal way this works is that the athletic director does this stuff. You've screwed it up so much, you're costing us so much money that no, you don't get to make this. There's a part of me, Travis, that admires that, and says, yeah, that's the way. When you lose control, this is exactly what should happen. You don't just. It's kind of like the bond referendum thing. We're not going to throw good money after bad. We're not going to let the people that have made these decisions that have got us to where we are make more decisions. The very first part of figuring out a problem or figuring out the solution to a problem is finding out how you got in the problem so that you don't make those same mistakes again. That's that accountability thing that we talk about. And this is, in a way, this is that accountability to that athletic director saying, hey, you've screwed this up.
There's a lot of athletic directors in the country going, oh, I'm glad I'm not at LSU right now.
There's a lot of athletic directors looking over their shoulder right now.
And if you're a head coach that takes this job, I think that says a little bit about you. It's almost a power grab because a head coach could go, oh, I've got ultimate power here. Even if I take a 4 or 5 year deal, my new athletic director, the athletic director didn't hire me. I don't answer to him. You don't want to answer to a governor. You don't want to answer to a board of supervisors because they don't think rationally when it comes to this, because they usually answer to people who give money. And unfortunately, this was probably a situation at LSU where, hey, we're sick of Brian Kelly, which was everybody said when Brian Kelly was hired, it's a bad fit. It's culture. A bad fit.
Bad culture fit. The guy gets up there and starts doing his fake accent. Everybody's like, oh.
Doing the weird recruiting dances. Now, literally the best job in college football that's open right now, better than Penn State, it's better than Florida, is now maybe down the list because of the dysfunction that's going on. And this is times I go, God, I'm glad we're in Iowa. You know, I mean, you don't deal with stuff. This is where you appreciate stability. Okay, we're good. We're good. 515-517-2303. That's the number to call. When we come back, Todd Stepsis, head coach of the Northern Iowa Panthers, is going to be joining us. Panthers taking on Illinois State on Saturday. It is the Rush Radio Show powered by Willis Automotive.
The Rush Radio is now on the free TuneIn app, allowing you to enjoy the show on Apple products and Android Auto. Download the free TuneIn app and search The Rush Radio to take Travis and Ross wherever you go.
You've got enough on your plate, so when it's time to reset, grab a Fresca. Bold citrus, 0 sugar, 0 caffeine. Just clean, crisp refreshment that never goes out of style, whether it's post-work, post-gym, or just a break from the noise. Fresca's got your back. Pick up a Fresca at your local retailer today.
Your house wasn't built for bats, birds, or raccoons, but try telling them that. At Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions, we've been helping Iowans take back their homes for over 20 years. We use cost-effective, eco-friendly methods to solve wildlife and pest problems the right way. Whether it's bats in your attic, birds in the vent, raccoons in your chimney, or moles in your yard, we have long-term solutions. Call Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions today at 515-218-3400, and let's make sure your home doesn't become their home.
Hi, I'm John Linares with Willis Lexus, and fall is upon us. If you've been thinking about getting a new ride, now is the time. We have interest rates as low as 3.49 on select models. We have a $469 per month lease on ES Hybrid, and we have early deals on 2026 models that are just arriving. You can see our great inventory at willislexus.com, but I invite you to stop in and visit with our sales consultants for more details. Your new Lexus is waiting for you.
After Hawkeye football games this fall, Travis and Ross are right where they belong, with you, taking your calls and giving unfiltered feedback. Right after Hawkeye football games, it's the Black and Gold Rush on the rushradio.com, the TuneIn app, and on YouTube.
A fuel choice that even rivals can agree on? Now that's worth the hype. Pump it up with unleaded 88.
Largest selection of German beer in the world? You'll find it at the Hessen House. From Doppelbocks to Oktoberfest to Hefeweizens and Dunkels, there's no passport needed for the deliciously different beer and food at the Hessen House. So grab your friends and make it a fun night out. The Hessen House, 4th and Court, Des Moines.
You know, Brian, at Central City, we really do have the best selection around.
I know, high quality stuff you can't find anywhere else.
Whistle Pig Plantation Rum.
Yeah, and over 150 of the best scotches on earth.
And a ton of bitters, mixers, and more.
You know what we are? High class.
Definitely high class, yeah.
Make way for the natty.
Okay, maybe medium class.
Central City Liquors, home of the 10% cash coupon.
And the Wooden Nickel program.
Back like a rash you thought was gone. Travis and Ross aren't contagious, but they are addictive. It's the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.
Hour number 2 of the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive. Thank you for joining us this morning on a Thursday. If you're listening on the audio stream at therushradio.com, the Rush Radio Android app, or the TuneIn app, thank you so much. If you're watching on YouTube today, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Like this video. Start leaving your comments in the comment section. And, of course, you can follow us on our social media channels, X, Facebook, and Instagram. I'm Travis Justice. He's Ross Peterson. You know, each and every week we're joined by Northern Iowa head coach Todd Stepsis, where we ask the hard, probing questions to get to the bottom of the Panther program. And my first question this week, Coach, is this. I want to know if I'm still alone in between this trio. Have you turned your furnace on in your house yet?
I don't think we have. You know, so I don't know if that means that, again, we are frugal.
No, it means you're smart.
Or maybe our house is just well insulated. I don't know, but like we just haven't had a need to turn it on. So
see, then you and I are on the same page. Now, I did get up this morning, and you know, when you're sleeping with your wife who's going through menopause, it's nice because she's just radiating heat, right?
Yeah,
she's a furnace. I step outside of the bedroom and I go look at the thermostat. It's 59 degrees in the house, and I'm like, I'm getting pretty close now. I'm getting close. It's 59 is a little cold, but I'm like, I can make it through the day. The sun's going to come up in a couple hours and it send some heat into the house.
Yeah, I'm a furnace, so it doesn't. You know, for me, like I'm the type of guy that has shorts on in the wintertime in the house. You know, where my wife, man, she actually wears, you know, like right as the girls are getting ready for bed, she puts on this like massive, like thick robe. It's like a blanket. And so like, she's always cold, but she and I, kind of one and the same, grew up in similar households. Hey, we'll put off something that's going to cost us a little money as long as we can.
I'm so jealous.
I like that. Can we turn the heat on? I don't get paid for another 2 weeks, so no, you can't. You can't do that. That's funny. When we have hockey coaches on, and I like to talk about this a lot, a lot of hockey coaches will talk about penalty kill or power play, how they do on the power play. I was looking at your numbers today, and you are 9 of 24 in the red zone on the year. That number has to be very frustrating. Just looking at, the amount of points you haven't put up, especially in the Valley, do you look at that red zone production and go, God, if we're so close, we're in the red zone, but just can't convert?
Oh, I mean, like it is, when you think just back into what goes into a season, and then when things aren't going well, how do you stay positive? And again, it's just, you got to be who you are, and you got to be looking for the good things, and you got to try to build on the good things. But then, to your point, when you see that you're so close, sometimes it's really hard to do. And for us, gosh, we've been in there multiple times, and sometimes it's a bad decision with a throw. It's an interception and turnover. Sometimes it's a penalty. That for whatever reason, we can't control our emotions, whatever it is. And I think part of that too is, guys just want to win. Guys are trying really hard to produce. And then you've got kind of the team dynamic too, where, we've had great special teams, defense has been playing pretty well. And so then you have an offense that's just straining, so hard to not let their buddies down. And again, for us, that has been our Achilles heel. If you really want to break down our team, we're gradually improving in several areas, each and every week against good teams. But then, but you can point to it, and you can point to it early, in the game where, man, if kind of the back and forth, they're throwing punches, we're throwing punches, to where all of a sudden, we're now fighting from behind, and then that strain just gets stronger and more intense. And again, when you're trying too hard, that's usually when the mistakes happen and they get amplified.
Is there something that you can do? Is there something you're doing in practice to try to focus on that skill, or to try to overcome that kind of mental hurdle?
Yeah. You just, at the end of the day, the more you do something, hopefully the more confidence you get into it. So for us, the best look you're going to get all week is when you can go, first team offense versus first team defense. And regardless of, whether that look is going to be identical to what you're going to see, you just kind of live with it, because the speed of it, how quickly maybe those throwing windows get closed when it's a guy out there that's playing on Saturday, that helps a ton. So that's something that, we've continued to implement, so, hey, we're going to have a good against good period here. It's going to be 10 minutes. We're going to get 16 plays in the red zone, various distances away, and let's see if we can be effective. And then, then you hopefully that gives you some more confidence on a Friday meeting. You show these clips of us being successful, like, hey, you're going against a really good guy here in practice. Make that a part of your mindset. I think too, sometimes you need to shake things up. So last week we decided to make a quarterback change at halftime, and lo and behold, we get into the red zone. Let's see, I think in the second half, 4 times, and we had two drop balls in the end zone. Kind of like but then we finished 2 drives in the end zone at the end of the game, and so you look at it and you think, dang, if one of those balls would have been caught, we would have been kicking an onside kick to try to at least go tie and send overtime. But I think you just continue to pound away. It's mindset, and it's what's kind of cool is sports in general. If you're a sports fan, you see it. You see this happening everywhere. And in the World Series, I think it's playing out just as like you see it, to where it's, to use kind of a boxing analogy. It's how do you take the other guy's best punch?
Yeah.
And so like the Dodgers, I think, are feeling that right now, where, boy, we gave these guys our best punch and they're still here. And then that's kind of deflating. And so on the flip side, how do you keep swinging? You never know, how the other guy's being affected. So how do you just continue to push forward? And that's just kind of what we need to do. So in those situations in the red zone, and we just got to keep pushing forward, keep finding ways to have some success and keep appreciating the opportunities.
I had another statistic and analytics question, but I want to go to what you just said. You made a change at quarterback in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, actually at halftime.
At halftime. How hard is it? I mean, what is it do you say, screw it, we're going to do the change? Because I'm sure you think about that a lot. What's the tipping point, and does it carry over to this game against Illinois State? Do you have a new starter at quarterback?
Yeah, okay. So, yeah, it's something, it is a hard thing. And then, I was a former quarterback. I actually went through something similar to where, I had some success, had some playing time, and then got beat out. Now, I think when it happens in real time in a game, it amplifies those feelings a little bit. But, the cool thing is, the guy that has started up to this point, his response, could have been one of two ways. It could have been, oh, woe is me, I'm not getting much help. I think we counted on Monday, we've had 25 like season-ending injuries, and there's a good chunk of those that are skill players on offense. And so, you tell them at halftime, hey, this is not us, and our lack of belief in you. You just right now you just don't have any help around you. And so his backup, who's also really talented, he has this way about lifting others around him to overachieve. And so that's really what I think pushed us forward. It's like, man, here we are again. We got in the red zone early and then stalled out. We threw an interception, and we're just, we're trying to find our way. And again, we still have talented guys on offense, but man, they kind of run out of gas after a while because there's not many left. And so let's just throw somebody in there that we know is going to get every ounce of energy out of his teammates. And then it showed up, in the fourth quarter. We drove down in the red zone a bunch of times. He's making good throws, good decisions, good runs. And so that's just kind of what we needed. So that, from a pulse of a team, we didn't need a guy that, that was, it wasn't necessarily that the guy was not talented. It's just, we need a leader that is going to elevate everybody else. And so that's really what went into it. And again, that guy that was starting, he was the new guy's biggest fan, biggest supporter. I mean, he's there warming him up in between TV timeouts. He's on the bench watching the iPads with them. And so, it was cool to see the response be what you want it to be. It lets you feel, as a coach, like, okay, our program is heading in the right direction, and away we go.
Coach, you've always been one of those coaches that, what's the line? Great leaders take responsibility even when not at fault. Do you guys as coaches, have you looked at those 25 season-ending injuries? That's an insane number, by the way. Is there anything that you guys, I'm assuming you've taken a little bit of responsibility of that in the locker room and said, man, what are we doing? Where does that come from? 25 season-ending injuries is insane.
Yeah, you definitely look in the mirror for that. I mean, what are we doing incorrectly? So you look back, and really, I think you got to turn the clock way back, and that's something that we're really going to do a deep dive in once the season's over. Is let's take not only this year, but then let's look at the previous 10 years. Okay, so what kind of injuries did we have? How many did we have? We talk about availability rate. So what percentage of your roster on Saturdays are available for competition? And in the past places, in the past seasons, we used to track that. And we were always in like 92, 93% available. And for whatever reason here, we're down into the 70s. And so, we got to look at, okay, well, what are we doing January to August? So that's something that we're going to look at, from a strength and conditioning perspective, because really that's where the durability does get built. It's mental toughness, it's physical toughness, it's protecting your joints, it's, preparing your body, for collisions and contact and strain and all those kinds of things. But then, okay, once we got to August and we started practicing, what did that schedule look like? Did we, provide enough opportunity to recover? Were we going too hard for too long, in practices? And then once you get in the season, it's the same thing, So what's our weekly routine? We're emphasizing, strength and conditioning, 2 days a week. we're emphasizing rest and recovery, and we've got a great, athletic training facility. So, how much of that are we using, and how much of that are we programming into their work week? Because that's something that we can control. As long as we're within that 20-hour, work week that the NCAA allows. Maybe there's opportunities for us to make that a part of their day, as opposed to like, hey, these are open treatment hours where you can kind of come and go as you please. And so, that is 100%. We got to figure that out as an organization. Me as a coach, what am I doing differently or wrong to fix that? Because it's hard to be successful when you have all those injuries. And again, what can we do moving forward? Okay, let's take the information from the past. Let's figure out what's happening, because it actually has been, kind of like, that's kind of how it's been here. There's been a high injury rate. And so, why is that? What's the common factors between before we got here and now since we got here? And then how do we fix those?
So you've got a lot of analytics. You're diving down. Of those 25 season-ending injuries, how many were game-related? How many are practice-related? Because
I would say, I'd have to go back and give you like a definite thing. But gosh, I would say in the game, I'd say maybe 30%, maybe less. I don't know. It's kind of right around there. So, man, the worst ones. Gosh, we've had a couple of these where it's on a Thursday. All of a sudden, so here you are. You have your game plan. Game plan's all about featuring your best players, and then boom, somebody gets hurt, and you're kind of like, all right, now what are we going to do? And you start looking at your call sheets and you start crossing off things. Well, we don't have a guy that can do that anymore. But again, you got to have that in the game too, So, but we've had more in practice and more, in the preparation period than in the game.
So you can drill down a lot more. I brought up the red zone. I'm going to bring up another one where I only get an oversimplistic view of what it is. I'm sure you can go into yardage, but and tell me from a coach's perspective, what is actually a good percentage here? Third down conversions, you're at 38%. What is about 45, 47% where you want to be? And of that 38%, are you at 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3? Are you 3rd and long in a lot of those situations?
Yeah, that's you hit on the head. So we have actually a 45% or better. That's kind of the mark that we talk about. Offensive objectives, third downs, first downs. We talked about that 12% thing, when we were on a few times ago, which again, I think this past week, 12% is what we want to be as far as our negative plays, and we were at 33. And we had nine drop passes, a couple critical penalties, and so again, the execution has just not been there. And again, you got to look in the mirror, what are we doing differently? But third downs, that's been kind of our Achilles heel when we get behind the sticks, when we make those mistakes. So all of a sudden, on a 1st and 10, it's a penalty that gets us back, and then we just can't get back on track. It's a drop pass, on a third down that would have been a conversion, or maybe it was a great play design on first down that was going to get us to a 2nd and 2, and it gets dropped, and now it's 2nd and 10. So most of those have been probably 3rd and 7 plus that we've had, and again, we've really struggled running the football. We've tried using the quarterback. We've tried using jumbo sets. We've tried spread teams out. We have just really struggled running the ball. And so, it comes down to schemes. Okay, so what concepts do we do well? What's our skill set? Do we have bigger, stronger offensive linemen? Well, then we need to use more double teams to get movement. If we have more athletic linemen, then maybe we need to use some more schemes that use pulling linemen, or where they're stretching the field and using wide zone. So we're kind of in between, okay, what do we have here? We've got some guys here that do this well, some guys here that do this well, and this we just haven't been able to get on the same page.
This can consume you, Coach. I hope you mentioned that you're watching the World Series. Or what are you doing outside of football to clear your brain, or let your brain not think about 3rd and long? That's a great part about having a family that is super supportive. So
my chance to have a conversation with my wife. Anytime I can do that, I appreciate it. And she's tough, so she lets she lets me know also when things aren't going well, and which is good, and she's smart. She makes what's cool about having a spouse that's really supportive of what you do and smart like she is. It's like she looks at it from a different lens, that maybe gives you some pause and some ideas. I'm like, okay, well, maybe that's a better way to attack this problem. And so, just, making sure that we spend time with family. It's hard to leave stuff here, at times, if you're trying so hard to give these guys some success and you feel like the worm is about to turn and then there's good things, but you just keep falling short. And, so having a family that supports you that are very involved too, so, my 2 daughters, gosh, gymnastics, softball, volleyball, so softball just ended last weekend, volleyball is kicking up now here this weekend. And so, just being a part of all that and seeing them also adapt and adjust. Halloween's coming up. So so some, what are some good costumes, that I'm seeing around. And, my favorite costume I ever was, I was Ace Ventura. It was during.
I can see it.
It was during COVID. So, past COVID, but it was still part of where you really had to be careful as far as social distancing and not being in confined areas. And so it was like, whatever you do, just try to eliminate the risk. So I think I went a year without getting a haircut. And so it's pretty bad right now, but
look at that mom.
We've never seen that hair before.
We've never seen that mom.
Yeah. Well, as my wife says, it's hat season for me because, I just don't have a ton of time to get that thing trimmed up. But so I went a year without a haircut. And then, so you remember the scene in Ace Ventura where he's in the loony bin, and he's got, the hair's like this.
Yeah.
And so my wife somehow, some way had got it teased up. it is epic. And I've got the button-up shirt with the tutu, and so we would have a group of my buddies of mine back in Des Moines. We would always have a workout where we all dressed up, and so I dressed up as Ace Ventura that morning, and it was great. Dressed up as Ace Ventura, again, at work, and we got the best costume award, and so.
I can see a Monday film session where you're dressed up like him doing the reverse plays.
Yeah. Taking snaps under center and jumping over stuff.
That's the type of stuff. I hope those things, you're able to remove your brain from some. And I will be honest, you have kept a really optimistic kind of positive attitude. And I know that's part of being a coach. We've talked about that. It's never as bad as you think, never as good as you think. It does seem like you've got a good perspective on there's a much longer, bigger vision than Saturday.
Oh yeah. I think that's life. Stuff happens, and when it happens, how quickly can you refocus and control what you can control, and that's your attitude and your demeanor and all that stuff. And so for me. The outcomes that we've had have stunk, but, how do you, and again, you're seeing it happen in the World Series, but how do you emotionally detach yourself from the result? And so the Blue Jays, they went that long freaking game and they lost. Well, that didn't affect, they were like, shoot, we lost that game, but you know what?
Travis,
on to the next one. And that's the attitude that you got to have, so for us, man, it stinks and it's a lot more fun to win. But hey, if you can't change the outcomes, all you can change is today and how we are today. And so that's what we're going to focus on, staying positive, staying upbeat, appreciating what we have. I think that's the other thing about pain, it takes you to your knees and, you start to become grateful for, hey, this is an awesome opportunity. Let's make the most of it. And, when it does turn and we have some success, boy, it's going to be really sweet and it's going to give us some momentum.
Yeah, love that
so
attitude.
You're at Illinois State on Saturday, but my suggestion is I think you go full Rob Ryan. You've got I'm jealous of the hair. I'm jealous. But I think you go full Rob Ryan and just tell the team, hey, I'm going to live the life of Samson here, and I'm just going to have long, flowing hair on the sideline.
Oh yeah. I should do that, but man, it's just not good. I mean, that's why I put the hat on. And my wife, gosh, every time I come home and the hat comes off, she's like, "Man, you look like a bum. You need to go." They're like, "Yeah, I do."
Before the season is over, we got to have your wife on the show. I'm sure. I mean,
she's entertaining, and she would laugh. She's like, "Why?" So we have a friend of ours in town who is a fan of the show, and he's ran into her. I can't remember when, and he mentioned that I've brought her up a couple times on here, and she's like, "Why do you keep talking about me?" I'm like, "I don't know, like."
We're talking about life. You're part of my life.
Yeah, and you're great, and she's like, "Stop. I'm not that great," So she's very. I mean, she's super humble, and but man, she can dish it out now. So
that's what I like. That's what we like.
She is one that she will not hold any punches. What you see is what you get. She's a great, bad cop, good cop at home. So she will tell our girls exactly what they need to hear in the moment. Where sometimes I'm a little soft. And I think it's having girls. I think has made me that. Where I think back to growing up, and me and my two brothers, man, we got crushed at home by my dad. So
having a daughter will do that to you. It softens you.
So soft. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it's a good thing, Coach. It's a really good thing.
The funny thing is, before I let you go, it's funny. I'm softer now as a dad. As my kids are adults, they go from 29 down to 18. I am so much softer now that I think they call me more than they call their mom when they need something or if they need some empathy. But when they were little, I was the hard ass. I was the bad cop. My wife was a good cop. Now it's like, "Hey, Dad," because I'm so grateful they're not pissed at me for all how mean I was as a dad when they were growing up. And I'm like, "What do you want? I'll do anything for you." That's what I am.
Well, Angie calls me fun time, party time, Dad. That's what she's like. Oh, here he is, fun time, party time. Yeah.
Fun time, party time.
Yeah.
And then she has to be bad cop, and she's pissed off that you're fun time.
Do you ever get this? You don't know what I go through during the day. You're off in your office playing football. Yeah. You don't know I'm doing the real work today.
Oh man, this past weekend, she was down in Des Moines with our two daughters. They both had a softball tournament. One is down in South Des Moines. One is up in Grimes. 2:00 comes around on Saturday, and they're both playing at the same time. So she's listening to our game. She's at one girl's game. She's got the phone for the other game, and then of course, and then they have celiac disease. Both my girls do, which means they can't have gluten. And so she's juggling meals and like getting them shuttled from place to place. And needless to say, after the weekend, it was she needed some time to decompress.
Todd, I don't want to hear it. Todd, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it.
Your Saturday wasn't as bad as mine.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a tough job. That's a tough job when you got two parents involved.
Yeah,
you're splitting like that, and somebody has to miss a game or something like that. That's all tough. Coach, we appreciate this so much, man. I appreciate that you come on. You've always got a smile on your face. You've always got a positive attitude. You got a killer head of hair. Damn it.
No kidding. I'm jealous. Man. I'm really, really jealous. So, all right, Coach, go get him against Illinois State. We'll talk to you next Thursday, okay?
All right, sounds good. Looking forward to it.
Go get him, Coach.
Coach Todd Stepsis joining us on the Rush Radio Show powered by Willis Automotive. I'm serious. We got to get the wife on. The wife has to come on before the end of the season. That's the only thing I'm asking. All right, here in Iowa, we grow corn, but the truth is corn grows Iowa. Corn benefits the entire state. It feeds our livestock, nourishes our families, and provides homegrown, clean-burning, unleaded 88 for our vehicles. Pump it up with unleaded 88. Go to iowacorn.org to learn more. It is the Rush Radio Show powered by Willis Automotive.
I'm loving these wooden nickels, Brian.
Yeah, I suppose everyone is catching on.
Just spend $20 to get a wooden nickel.
It's $25.
Collect 10 and add up the savings on your next purchase.
Some of these are worth $5. That could be huge.
I know, right? That's why you have to spend $20.
It's $25.
Collect 10. It's like money back to you.
Spend 20, you get another wooden nickel.
It's $25.
Collect 10 and add up the savings. It's huge.
Central City Liquors, home of the 10% cash coupon.
And the wooden nickel program.
It's huge.
Hey, Blake Warlock here with Mini of Des Moines. Here to share some excellent deals that we have going on for the month of October. On the 25 Countryman, Mini is offering an APR down to 0.9 at 48 months. Lease special on the new 26 Countryman, $379, with just $4,400 down. 26 convertibles, great lease special as well at $469 with only $4,000 down. Stop in and visit your favorite Mini motoring advisor or visit us online at miniofdesmoines.com.
You've got enough on your plate, so when it's time to reset, grab a Fresca. Bold citrus, zero sugar, zero caffeine. Just clean, crisp refreshment that never goes out of style, whether it's post-work, post-gym, or just a break from the noise. Fresca's got your back. Pick up a Fresca at your...
After Hawkeye football games this fall, Travis and Ross are right where they belong, with you, taking your calls and giving unfiltered feedback. Right after Hawkeye football games, it's the Black and Gold Rush on the rushradio.com, the TuneIn app, and on YouTube.
Missing a quality home-cooked meal? You know, the kind Mom used to make? Lucky for you, we found her recipe book. Welcome to the High Life. Welcome to the Champagne of Bars.
Every business has priorities, and Priority One Heating and Cooling is no different. As a service provider, we prioritize quality air conditioners and furnaces that will keep your home at your comfort level year-round. As a small business, we prioritize doing things the right way and treating people fairly. As a truly local business, we prioritize our community. As a veteran-owned business, we prioritize duty and commitment. For big business service with local value, trust your home to the place where you are always Priority One.
Hi, I'm Bradley Ollinger here at Willis Nissan. Now until October, we are offering buy 3 tires, get the 4th for $1. Take advantage of this deal right now before winter. Go online today at willisnissan.com to schedule your tire placement today, and we'll see you on the service drive.
Rush, strong opinions, weak filters, and just enough sense to stay on the air. It's the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.
Welcome back to the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive. We talked about the LSU job not long ago, how it's probably not a desirable job. A lot of people thought Matt Rule at Nebraska might bolt for Penn State. Ross, today it's expected to be announced that Matt Rule has signed a multi-year extension at the University of Nebraska to stay at Nebraska at least through 2030.
Pull the old Kirk Signetti.
I mean, why not? When you have leverage, you use leverage.
Yep.
I get it.
I
100%
totally do as well. Yeah, I mean, if they're coming knocking, you go to your boss and say, hey, this opportunity is knocking on my door. Well, let's make sure that we close that door.
And before we get to Bruno, I think what we're going to start seeing is it's not who has the best facilities. It's not who has the best tradition. It's who has the most money to help you build a roster. And sometimes you might go, I got it pretty good here, right? Texas Tech, pretty good job. They've got oil money. They've got a lot of stuff to make them, I think we're going to keep our coach, So some of these jobs, they may sound desirable, but you might have people go, it's not worth it. I got a pretty good situation here. Let's bring in the man of the hour, the man, the myth, the legend. He's joined us every Thursday for like the last 15 years because he's a cool dude, and he likes hanging out with us. At least I assume that. Bruno, what's going on, buddy?
Yeah, it's good to assume that, I guess.
Wow.
I was at the library the other night. I took Eli's girlfriend was with us, and she went, and she had never, when I said, hey, we're going to the library for dinner, she kind of turned her nose up. She's like, the what? I'm like, oh, you've never been. You've never been. Nice. So I got to introduce her to the library, and as everybody, you walk in there, and about 2 minutes in, you go, I like this place. This is a cool little spot. Great dinner that night. Had fun.
Peterson, I'm not a big reader. I don't know if I want to go to the library.
Do they have books on audio tape there?
Well, they do when I'm there.
They right now the Octobox is Odell out of Colorado.
Really good.
Oh, dude, there is a beer that it's a barrel aged sour. That's a framboise, so it's a raspberry. Oh, dude, I haven't had a beer in a long time that I tried and went, oh, that's so good. Freak. That's what. Friek or something.
So it's funny. I hung out with our rep Chris Anderson and his wife Leah from Omaha. I think they went to Central, and my daughter while we were at the library, my daughter was watching their kids.
Oh, nice.
It's it's a small town, right? Remember we had him on the show back in the old days, and we had to press the button because he said some kind of cuss word about he's a Jayhawk fan. So
I remember this.
I think when you say that you're a Jayhawk fan, I think that should be dumped. But that's a whole nother story, right?
Did I call him a fictional blue chicken and he got mad at that? I'm trying to remember why.
He said something about the rock chalk and then some other kind of nonsense, and then he said a word you're not supposed to, and had to hit down there. Whoa.
One of those. We only had a few of those in the years.
I know. I came in sleepy one day and said it one time in the whole time I was there.
Dude, I said the F word on the air one time.
I think I said shit.
Yeah, you did. I remember that. That's right. I remember.
That's so dumb. But anyway,
I was up at Ballard's fishing, and Travis. It was when Karsten Lundy was our producer. Travis,
wow, that's going back in
time. When and luckily Karsten was there because he was a very good producer. But Travis, it was like a Friday morning. I'd fished all day Thursday, and Travis said, "All right, Ross, how many fish did you catch yesterday?" And I'm in fish camp mode. On the air, I went, "Oh fuck, Travis, I probably caught 100 fish yesterday." And I paused and I went, "Carson, I hope you got that." He goes, "I got it, dude. No worries. I dumped it." So,
dude, working in the restaurant industry, like one of the top managers in our company, he's like every other word's the F word. Like it's pretty hard to like kind of get yourself out of that mode, In
our synergy meeting yesterday, we had an F-bomb counter. I think we were up to like 30 by the end of the day. Just because it's just used in random conversation.
In the construction world is probably, I would imagine in that sense, your two worlds are very similar. I just mean in that free-flowing language sense.
Well, synergy happens when two things come together.
That's right. That's right.
What's that? I don't understand what that. Hey, speaking of managers at your places, I reached out to Chris Mendenhall at Truman's, and he sent me over the new catering menu that they've put together over there. Dang, dude, very impressive.
Yeah, he's a big time caterer. He's worked with quite a few things. He's catered Iowa Hawkeye football with our burritos before.
Really?
Yeah, I think he used that as an excuse to go watch the game, but I'm not going to say anything, But,
hey, if you can work the angles. That's what you do.
Yeah, it's good. Speaking of football, we saw Coach Stepsis right before I came on. Bulldogs doing pretty good even without him, huh?
Yeah, well, we had Joe Woodley on Tuesday, and what Joe's been able to do. Joe just wins. Google him. That's all he does. He just wins.
What was his record at Grandview? It's something insane.
Undefeated in the regular season.
Never lost a regular season game.
Never lost a regular season game, dude. It's insane.
When you watch a team. And I watch soccer a lot, of course, but when you're watching a player and they're just getting owned, and I always have this thought, that person has buddies that says that guy is amazing. Like he's the biggest, he's like an amazing soccer player. And then he plays a team and he gets owned, and it's just, but there's people that every step of the way think they're good. There's bound to be somebody at some point in time it's going to trip you up. To not lose at all is pretty amazing.
That's that old adage, there's always somebody better. Yeah, Bruno, we've all been through that. Like, dude, we all had that experience where the best guy on our little league team turned out not to be the best guy on the high school team or the best, right? It's inevitable. There's somebody out there.
We had that experience this year in tennis. There's a girl, I think she's a freshman, or her mom was a professional tennis player.
Holy cow.
And our person, she's really amazing, but she went up against this girl who's she's ranked nationally, so
there's levels.
Yeah, there's levels. Speaking of somebody who has no competition, who is the best at theirs and are undefeated, I was in Central City Liquor yesterday. They've won all their games. They are amazing.
That's a good way to
They've won all their games.
I'm scheduled to go. They are undefeated in the arena of never failing to entertain. I ran into Tom Duax. Talked to Todd that runs the liquor store.
The Todd father.
Todd Logston. Amazing. They are. I stopped in to see if they donate a little bit of whiskey for our party to help support Roosevelt High School, and they of course said yes. And but the stories, you just come in, you get to hear a story. I got to hear a story about how Nickel got out. He was trapped, so they had to, his leash got caught up underneath the passenger side seat, so they took it off the leash. Took him off the leash. He hopped out and ran. He got his foot caught in some kind of post somewhere, and he's all bandaged up. He's like one of his paws.
Nickel's had a life. Nickel has had a life,
dude.
It's unbelievable. He rolled in, right? He's the JYD. He just showed up, junkyard dog. He just showed up one day, and they're like, "You should just be our dog." And he spent a lot of his life just chained up outside of their warehouse for most of the day. You walk up to the warehouse, and there's a dog there, and you're like, "What's going on?" And now he's riding shotgun with Tom all over Des Moines.
Yeah, they don't even know how old the dog is.
No,
Nickel could be 1,000 years old. Nobody knows.
And he has that kind of feel to him. That dog is amazing. That place is amazing. I have to pick up this liquor, and I was like, "Well, wouldn't you like to pick it up?" I'm like, "Oh, I want to pick it up on Friday." Going to Central City on Friday is like going on to a set of a reality TV show.
No, every day at Central City Liquors is a day like a
I know,
reality
but I'm
TV.
just saying, it's like the best of that day.
So
it's always good, but you don't have to wait more than a couple minutes to see some kind of show. As I stood there between the pork rinds and the pickle pouches, I realized after a quarter century of dealing with these guys that this is an amazing place to be. I love Central City.
You knew that a long time ago, dude. You were the very first person that said to me, "Hey, let's go over there and just sit quiet for about 5 minutes. Just go inside of that store and just watch what happens." And I've told people the same thing, like, "Hey, when you go over there, you're going to be amazed by the selection of stuff they have." That's the first thing that's going to jump out at you. You're going to be like, "Oh my God, they have some amazing stuff here." But then just shut up and listen for a minute, and you will be entertained. You've said it. They should have a reality TV show about Central City Liquors.
You talk to Todd, and you'll just be talking to him, and all of a sudden ESP kicks in. Especially shoplifting perception. I mean, he's like this. You just wait a second. He's like, just a second. He walks around. He's like, "Hey, take that out of your coat." And they're like, "Okay, sorry." It's to say, like, how do you do that? I remember the first time I met Tom Duax at the Royal Mile, and he said, I'm Tom, we have a liquor store. We'd like to deliver your liquor. We're a wholesaler. And I'm like, I was just new to all this, and I didn't want to mess it up, screw it up. So I'm like, "Nope. We have a company that brings us our stuff. That's who we work with. Sorry, I don't know you, I didn't take much longer after that. He offered me a deal. I can't remember what it was, but at the end of the day, 24 years ago, nearly, we decided to go with Central City and never look back. And I hope a lot of wholesalers go out there and choose them. They don't give the 100% lowball price, but they also don't come around and screw you over after you've kind of accepted that lowball deal. That's so they get you in on the deal, and then they come back and then you stop looking at your invoices. They're like, "What the hell?" They never.
That sounds like every software company out there. When you buy a software for an enterprise account, you're like, they sell you something. You're like, "Well, it really can't do what we said."
Yeah, you got to talk to your salesman. I'm just the guy installing. I actually know how the program works, and I'm sorry, but it doesn't do anything like you thought it would. Do. Welcome to the world of why restaurants go out of business. They get sold all the time. Todd said he came in. He goes, "I'd gladly donate to your thing. You do a lot of business with us." He goes, "I average 2 people a day coming in and saying, 'Hey, give me some money for X. Give me some this, give me some that.'" I'm like, "Well," he's asking the question, "Well, why would I do that?" And then they have to explain. And then I was like, I don't think we should give booze to your high school after party for prom, or whatever it is. It's like, I don't think we should donate to your AA meeting, your AA fundraiser or whatever it is. It's always people just not thinking like, why would, what's the upside for me to do this? Why would I do that? It's good to give, but you could also end up.
Bruno, I bet you get hit up a lot with stuff like that. I mean,
I just hit him. By the way, did you go down to the tap room and pick up those things
no,
yet?
I got to go get those for you.
Yeah. Because and Bruno's very nice. Full court press, and because I hit up Bruno every year. At Scareway Cancer, we do a date night in Des Moines. So we get them 2 nights at the Hilton. They usually go to a show at the Casey Center, and then I want them to experience the full court press establishment. So I call Bruno and I say, hey, we're doing this. It's one of the most popular items on our auction. And I look at it a couple different ways. Is A, we're sending people to, because usually they end up spending more money than just the gift cards that are there. But they also get to experience Des Moines for a couple nights. And I've never had anybody come back and go, boy, that was a boring time. They enjoy the time they have in Des Moines.
Yeah, usually the highlight is when I appear during their visit at some point. Last year didn't work out so much. I was like, let's do something different. I'm going to show up in the hotel room. That didn't work out.
Normally, it's the highlight.
Yeah, I was punched in the face.
I'm here for the party. That's funny, and I understand that.
The husband went screaming out of the room and ran out down the hallway.
And it is tough to ask people for donations because having worked in the coffee shop, I own the coffee shop, and it wasn't like the coffee shop was making a lot of money, but they're like, hey, can I have gift cards? And you're like, okay. Yeah, you can. But all of a sudden, when you have 35, 40, 50, 100 people asking for gift cards, then you're like, okay, that turns into real. One set of gift cards, that's fine. When you start doing it all the time, you're like, okay, this is real money now. This is real inventory.
I'm not Juan Valdez here.
Yeah. I heard one at the end of the summer here that I wonder how often this happens. So I heard about this golf tournament. The guy asked me if I wanted to be a sponsor of it, but I thought this was already something I'd been invited to do. And so I told the guy, let me get back to you. Well, then I found out it was something I'd already been invited to do. So when I get to the golf tournament, this guy comes up to me and he's like, hey, you told me you were going to sponsor. And I said, no, I didn't tell you I was going to sponsor. And we walked away from that guy, and I'm like, man, that's really weird because I never agreed to do that. And the person I'm with says, oh, let me tell you about that guy. He went into a business, and it was like a golf business, and said, hey, can I get a gift certificate for this charity? And the golf business said, we don't do that. We get hit up by every golf tournament in America. We don't donate for that. But what this guy did was he went back then the next week and walked in. It was a different employee, and he said, hey, by the way, I was here last week, and Bruno told me I could get a gift certificate. Do you have my $100 gift certificate? And the guy just said, okay, if Bruno, if the owner said that that's what we're supposed to do, he's like, man, I was with the guy when the dude said no. And then he went back in and said, hey, you're supposed to give me this.
We funnel it. We funnel everything mostly through Steve-O for the most part. So she keeps record of what we've done. We don't do really one-offs like that. It just doesn't work, to Travis's point. And, I'm not going to have somebody come in and Marty Terrell me.
What
a
great reference. What a great reference.
It's like, we got tickets to, we've got 24 people. You got tickets for me for the Big Four in Des Moines. What do you mean? It's like, I can't, we're already sold out. That's going to be a problem.
Yeah. Red flag should go up when some guy says he's got 50 tickets to the Super Bowl. That should be your first indication of like, I don't think that's how that works.
Those cost a little bit, right?
Yeah, right.
Speaking of nothing in particular, just to segue, yesterday on a whim, I had to talk with friend of the show, Dave Morgan, from the owner of Single Speed.
Yeah.
I think he's got some cool stuff. He's picking up Peachtree and Back Pocket. There's a whole big to-do going on up there. I wanted to talk to him. I was like, hey, you got time? And he's like, sure. I said, 11. He's like, sure. And I started driving towards him. Texted him. I was like, are you at the brewery today? Because last thing I want to do is find out he's working from home or something. Yeah, I'll be at the brewery. He's like, 11 o'clock. Hey, I'm ready whenever you are. Thinking I'm going to call. And I walk into his office in the brewery and we talked. I drank some beer. You'd have to go up to the brewery to do it, Ross, but they have barrel-aged Zach's Mexican Donut.
Whoa.
And they found it in a distributorship. It's 2023. They're a little worried it wouldn't taste good. It is very good. They're having an event up there this weekend. Zach's Mexican Donut, though, is they're having an event at Single Speed Des Moines. Lots of fun things happening at Single Speed Des Moines. Great place to host a party and stuff like that. Just wanted to mention, I just had a good experience. I never have a bad beer from Dave. There's beers I'm not my favorite, but they're always good.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm glad he's picked up Back Pocket, man, because Back Pocket makes some really good stuff as well. So it makes sense that Single Speed, I mean, they're kind of in that same vein with each other. I like it.
Yeah. And just one last pro tip, sign up for the newsletter, of course. I didn't get talking points today, but that's fine. Steve was going to be sending those out. And if you want to get the newsletter, get signed up, there's going to be a fresh one hot off the press. But as the month ends, this is your last shot at the Oktoberfest pizza. A buddy of mine used to work at a pizza store, and he said, hey, try this recipe. And it's a bratwurst and mozzarella and cheddar, drizzled with tangy, zesty brew pub mustard. It looks amazing. Every time we come out with a new one, it's always great. So
the description of that Oktoberfest pizza, because I had lunch at Fong's the other day. Yeah, dude, the description of it makes your mouth water.
Yeah, and get it while it's hot, all the way through Halloween. I suppose we'll roll out a new pizza on Monday.
Yeah.
So is tonight Beggar's Night, or did they get rid of that and you guys go into Halloween like normal people?
I think COVID or whatever it was, they went off of, and they just go on the day of.
Good. Back to normal.
Yeah, I never understood that. I mean, in Carroll, Halloween was Halloween. It's like, well, it's Monday night. It's like, yeah, it's Halloween.
It started because some parent back a long time ago.
Things, right?
Yeah, there was a lot of bad stuff that was happening on Halloween night, and so parents decided they didn't want their kids being out on that particular night, so they moved it up one night. And
you're talking about when Des Moines used to celebrate a purge every Halloween.
Yes, yeah, that's that.
No, I get it. No, I mean, let's just say drunk driving. Like partying and nonsense and clowns and things like that scare parents. But I get it. Yeah, no, but I'm glad it's not that way. It's kind of seems like it should be on that day. So.
All right. So if people come to the Bruno house and the Ross house, what are they getting? Are they getting
two very different experiences? I'll tell you that. Bruno and I don't live far from each other, but dude, there is a canyon between the activity that happens in Bruno's neighborhood and in my neighborhood. Bruno lives...
No, Cottage Grove and mostly
Kingman.
Kingman is where it's at.
Yeah.
You may come by my house and the lights may be off, but you have to know where I live in the first place. But,
yeah,
well,
right.
I didn't know. I get that. I just didn't know if you're handing out like full-size candy bars or miniatures.
It was always candy bars, but a full-size, I'm no mayor of Carroll. That's what the no guards did. We couldn't do that.
We had a family in Pleasant Hill that would hand out full size candy bars, and the lady would present it on a silver tray. So it would have the Kit Kat, the Snickers, the Reese's Peanut Butter Cups, the Three Musketeers, the Baby Ruth, and then when your friend would pick the Baby Ruth, she would turn back around and her husband would put a new Baby Ruth on the tray. So each kid got to pick from the full selection of full candy bars. That was like you went out of your way to go to that house on Halloween.
I mean, any kids out there listening, we are debating between apples, bananas, and Rice Krispie balls. So,
Bruno,
something homemade.
You've both met my dad. Okay, true story. One year when I'm about 15, 16 years old, Dad's like, "Hey, I'm running out of candy. I need you to run down to Hy-Vee and get some more candy for me." So my sister and I jump in the car. We run down to Hy-Vee. We grab a box of candy or whatever it was. We come back. Well, by the time we got back, my dad had officially run out of candy. And instead of telling the kids, "Hey, I don't have candy," my dad was giving them whatever he could. And at the time, it was raw potatoes.
scoops of casserole into their hands.
We're like, Dad, we're going to get egged. What are you doing?
You're going to get potatoed. You're going to have a busted window.
Must have been a bad joke. Here's a potato, kid. Oh, here's a pencil.
When I was taking the kids, because for a long time there, we would leave our neighborhood because nobody comes around here, and we'd go up a little bit towards Kingman, which in Des Moines,
they can't get in. There's too many gates to get in.
It's again not the case here.
Not on Halloween. They open the gates for that.
Yeah,
that's right.
I think my ex-wife came up with the idea or found this idea. We took a pumpkin, drilled holes in the pumpkin, and then put suckers, like put blow pops or Tootsie Pops. So there were like 100 suckers inside of the, sticking out of this pumpkin. And we came back and, there were 93 of them left or something.
Oh,
like that.
all the sticks are wet. No. And by the way, I misspoke. For anyone listening from Carroll, it was full box of Cracker Jacks.
There's nothing wrong with it. I don't mind the Cracker Jacks.
It was the big one when they still put peanuts in it,
And it had a toy inside.
And a toy. Yeah, it's a double gift, double treat. It was a trick and a treat.
Bruno, to me, that was always an iCubs game. Like when we went down to Sec Taylor when I was a kid, a box of Cracker Jacks was always a part of that experience. So that brings back some memories.
Cracker Jacks on Kingman. There's like people that have hot dogs on the grill to hand out to adults or whoever want it. There's actually a few people, if like, hey, here's a beer,
Yeah.
There's a lot of covered cups. A lot of moms walking around the neighborhood with a full bottle of wine and a Maverick cup. I guess I was going to say come and go, but you can't get those anymore.
I like it.
But yeah, I know it's fun. It's always been. I mean, my kids are older, so it's kind of the kind of luster is kind of falling off on that.
Bruno, I will say this: Bruno did Halloween right when his kids were doing Halloween. Bruno did it right. I was lucky enough to hang out with him a few years and the people in his neighborhood, and my favorite Halloweens. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, no, I went as a drunk guy. It worked out. Like people believed it.
That's really easy to do. All right, Bruno.
Thanks.
Always
buddy.
Good stuff, buddy.
Thank you, guys.
We'll see you next week. Yep.
You bet.
Bruno and Full Court Press. Again, sign up for the Full Court Press newsletter. You won't be disappointed. Just go to fullcourtpressdm.com. Sign up right there on the homepage. More information coming about that next week. Enjoy your Thursday, Halloween Eve. Ross, enjoy your day. Go make a sale, sell a house. We'll be back tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. sharp, just to have a good time with you. We appreciate you. Thank you so much. Tell a friend about us. It is the Rush Radio Show powered by Willis Automotive.
It's Body Armor. Real hydration with electrolytes. No artificial dyes and coconut water. Choose better. Body Armor.
With over 260 beers on tap, El Bait Shop isn't just another craft beer bar. It's the best. Beer lovers know. El Bait Shop, 200 Southwest 2nd, Des Moines.
There's a new spin on casual dining near Drake University. Lucky Horse Beer and Burgers. Craveable faves, flatbreads, delicious burgers, frozen cocktails, and a crazy cool vibe. Get to Lucky Horse Beer and Burgers today.
My name's Gary Presnell, and I'm a residential home mortgage banker for Northwest Bank in Des Moines Metro Market. I've been financing people's homes for over 25 years, and I'm an expert in financing VA loans, FHA loans, IFA loans, and new construction homes. This is my cat Norm. Norm knows football, but he doesn't know mortgage. And that's where I come in. There are a lot of Tom, Dick, and Norms out there doing loans. So don't just trust anyone with your home loan. I'm your local, trusted, experienced expert.
Call Gary at 515-975-6767 or find his profile at nw.bank. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender.
After Hawkeye football games this fall, Travis and Ross are right where they belong, with you, taking your calls and giving unfiltered feedback. Right after Hawkeye football games, it's the Black and Gold Rush on the RushRadio.com, the TuneIn app, and on YouTube.
What's going on, everybody? It's Bobby here at Willis Volvo Cars. Fall is in full effect. There's $3,000 worth of savings on XC90 and XC60. We have sign and drive, no payment, nothing due up front. Best lease programs we have had in years. So give us a call, click, or visit us at willisvolvocars.com. Stop down to the showroom. Let us lower your payment on a brand new car. You'll be glad you did.
Bread is made from scratch, freshly baked with locally sourced ingredients and love. At Big Sky Bakery, we take great pride in our delicious products. We know you'll enjoy them almost as much as we enjoy baking.
Looking for the perfect golf escape? Experience Links-style golf right here in Ames at Coldwater Golf Links. With rolling fairways, large greens, and unique routing, it's golf the way it's meant to be played. Whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out, you'll love our course's welcoming atmosphere and friendly staff. Grab your clubs, book a tee time, and make every round unforgettable. Coldwater Golf Links, where great golf leads to great memories. Visit coldwatergolf.com to book your round today.
Back to the rush. Strong opinions, weak filters, and just enough sense to stay on the air. It's the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.